Now, GJRB Online returns to the last 7 days, presented commercial-free.
I riled up the nation, by the way.
She is such a wonderful president, Barack Obama.
I'm so glad I voted for him.
You mean her?
Her first female president.
Yeah. Openly gay president.
Of course, Obama said that we just can't blame all those Islamic people. He goes, we can't get our high horses, as he said, remembering that Christians, what they did at the Crusades and the Inquisitions. Of course, this was done 500 and 1,000 years ago.
He's got to stop pulling his arguments off of blog sites.
And of course, he was at the prayer breakfast. A little history on the prayer breakfast. The prayer breakfast was an indication of the turn during the 1950s toward greater emphasis on public expression of the Christian faith, as historian Kevin Cruz documents in his forthcoming book, One Nation Under God. The first one, in 1953, President Dwight D. Eisenhower declared that every free government is embedded soundly in deeply felt religious faith, or it makes no sense. So the prayer breakfast is to promote the government, to promote the emphasis of the Christian faith in the United States history.
Was it 1953 the same year that they introduced One Nation Under God into
Some in there. Yeah.
I think it was 53.
Yeah. 47 was it.
Now,
and I think in 1953 was the same time when Lyndon Johnson really started pushing separation, church and state separation.
Now here's the most fascinating thing that I've read about this prayer breakfast. You can't make this up. Obama's drone bombing has killed more people than the Spanish Inquisition.
Well, he who throws stones.
That would be Muslims. Oh, okay. On Thursday, at the National Prayer Breakfast, Barack Obama attacked Christians, equating the barbaric actions of ISIS to Christianity. The president used his warped and adolescent version of the Crusades and the Inquisition to bash Christians. He also blamed slavery and Jim Crow laws on Christians. That would be actually Democrats.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but who's
Humanity has been grappling with those questions throughout human history. Unless we get on our high horses and think this is unique to some other place, remembering that during the Crusades and Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ, and our home country, slavery and Jim Crow laws all too often were justified in the name of Christ.
I don't remember the Spanish Inquisition or the Crusades in American history. I can't get that.
But then we had slavery. Now, also, I want to just talk a little about slavery also. First of all, how many slaves did we have when the Civil War was fought?
You don't know.
256,000. How many slaves were in Mexico? Over 500,000. How many slaves were in the Caribbean? Over 1 million.
Yeah. Jeez.
Okay. Well, we're the evil people. Okay?
India was emptied out of people because of the Muslims enslaving them.
That's why I took, what's his name? The guy that had slavery down there with England.
Wilberforce.
Yeah, Wilberforce. That's why it took him so long, because of so many in the Caribbean in that area, especially the Dutch.
Yeah.
They had a lot of slaves.
Now, let's go into the facts.
We are all enslaved here in America through the IRS and the Social Security.
There you go.
On Monday of this
They
week,
put people to jail for doing nothing to anybody.
The Bureau of Investigative Journalism published an annual study of deaths from U.S. drone strikes that were reported the following. at least 2,464 people have been killed by U.S. drone strikes outside the country's declared war zones. Now this is 2,464 people outside of Afghanistan and Iraq. Since President Obama's inauguration 6 years ago, the Bureau's latest monthly report revealed of the total killed since Obama took his oath in office in January 20, 2009, at least 314 have been civilians, while the number of confirmed strikes under his administration now stands at 456 drone strikes. Research by the Bureau also shows that there have been nearly 9 times more strikes under Obama in Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia than there were under his predecessor, George Bush. So Obama has used drones 9 times more than Bush did. According to Wikipedia, there were 1,303 executions during the 300 years of the Spanish Inquisition. Another study put the execution total at around 2,000 deaths. So in the 300 years of the Spanish Inquisition, there were less people killed than Obama killed in drone strikes since he's been president.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Again, how many in the Inquisition?
Well, it's from 1,303 to 2,000 deaths. And he's got 2,464 people killed. And this is not counting drone strikes in Iraq or Afghanistan. Right. This is just countries outside of the 2 war areas, war zones. So you can't say, well, it's a war.
Well, it's also, if you think about the Spanish Inquisitions, they were perpetrated between philosophical indifferences of Christianity. It wasn't like Christians hunting down Muslims and saying convert or die. It was saying, Catholics saying to Protestants, you heretic, turn back to
Right, exactly.
Well, everybody probably felt the same to those that got killed, though.
Yeah.
Except that probably it was a lot more personal in the Inquisition, than having a drone obliterate you when you didn't see it coming.
It's going to be a bad day.
Yeah. You could be a neighbor and a drone goes off at your neighbor's place and you think to yourself, that can't be good.
Yeah.
Depends on your neighbor.
This guy is a CIA insider. His name's Jim Richards. He was an advisor to the CIA and to the Pentagon. He says that forget Iraq, Iran, Ukraine. He says if World War III breaks out, Syria is the most likely place for a world war. He says it's more likely than any other place on the face of the earth that if a world war breaks out, it's going to start from Syria, he says.
Where should it get in there?
He also says...
How does that fit into biblical?
Psalms 83, that Damascus is going to be leveled. He says that all 16 U.S. intelligence agencies, there's 16 U.S. intelligence agencies, have already begun to prepare for World War III. They're already preparing for it.
Bring it on.
As we wind down this president's rule and regime, that is his nuclear button,
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
If he has to go out kicking or screaming, that's the one he's going to trigger if nothing else works.
Yeah. And of course, there may not be any elections either. We've been talking about that for the last 3 elections.
Yeah.
One of these days it's going to happen. Especially depending on who's getting in. If Hillary don't get in, don't be surprised if there's some sort of suspended.
Which is looking more and more possible. And I don't know that that's not perpetrated by his office anyway. Because
Some of them,
the more he makes her look like a goon, the more chance he has to.
And
But
she
it's-
doesn't help her cause either.
no, you don't help her. If she gets in his office, you know it's a fix, just like Bonner. It was just a fix.
Yeah.
It really was.
Oh, yeah.
Real quickly. I think about it. They had an article in the paper of Jeb Bush, in Florida, about his immigration. You heard about that?
Oh,
Yeah, he's married to one.
Uh-huh.
He's married to a illegal alien.
Half the
Really?
world has
Yeah.
and
And so, but he got a book. Right, I can't say the name of the title of the article, but they'll send him back, and then he turns around and wafers. Oh, I think they'll be allowed in this country because he's running up for president. And plus, it's a little harder when you say that when you got a legal alien as a wife.
Yeah.
Shit. So anyway, go ahead.
So, got just a few more articles here. This one here says, if you listen carefully, the bankers are actually telling us what's going to happen next. We are on the verge of a major worldwide economic downturn. Well, recent warnings from prominent bankers all over the world are to believe that may be precisely what we're going to face in the months ahead. As you read about below, the big banks are warning that the price of oil could drop as low as $20 a barrel. That a Greek exit from the Eurozone could push the Euro USDA down to 0.9%, 90%, and that the global economy could shrink by more than $2 trillion in 2015. Most of the time, very few people ever actually read these things that the big banks write for their clients. But in recent months, a lot of these bankers are issuing such ominous warnings that you would think that they have started to write for the economic collapse blog. Of course, we have seen this happen before. Just before the financial crisis of 2008, a lot of people at the big banks started to get spooked, and now we are beginning to see an atmosphere of fear spreading to Wall Street. Once again, nobody is quite sure what is going to happen next, but an increasing number of experts are starting to agree that it won't be good. Let's start with oil. Over the past couple of weeks, we have seen a nice rally for the price of oil. It has bounced back to the low 50s, which is still at catastrophically low levels, but it has many hoping for a rebound to the range that will be healthy for the global economy. Unfortunately, many of these experts at the big banks are now anticipating that the exact opposite will happen instead. For example, Citibank says that we can see the price of oil go down as low as $20 this year, $20 a barrel this year. The recent rally of crude prices looks more like a head fake than a substantial turning point. The drop in U.S. rig count continues cutting off the upstream capex and the reading of technical charts, and investor short positions covering sustained the end January 8.1% jump in Brent and 5.8% jump in WTI into the first week of February. Short-term market factors are more bearish, pointing to more price pressure on the next couple of months and beyond. Not only is the market oversupplied, but consequently inventories build looks like it'll continue towards storage tank tops. So the big banks are predicting that oil is going to drop back again.
Oil is it's a interesting commodity because it's the only contradiction in terms that you see in financial things. When you have so much supply out there that it lowers the prices, you cut back on production. Well, that sounds like a smart idea, except the idea that in order to make the level of money that you have to earn, you have to boost production when the cost falls. So it's contradicting itself. It's in a downward spiral, and there's no fixing it.
Did they ever pass that law of